Okay, go.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to our second stream this weekend. We are trying to talk about a very, very important subject today. Me and Sam were going to discuss the legal origin of the orders, of why it is legitimate to take sex slaves in Islam, where the verses in the Quran that describe this subject and talked about it and how it was practiced during the historical ages of Islam. So I'm going to leave you now with Stan, that he's going to guide you through the verses and explaining it to you. And hopefully we can share our knowledge, since we are an ex-Muslims and we are Arabic native speaking uh, ex-Muslims, like I mentioned. So there you go, Sam. You have the microphone. You can start explaining.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Sam.
Thank you, Adam. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, hi.
Thank you, Adam. I'm just checking some technical issues. Okay, hello everyone. This is the second session today, meant to be for North America. As Adam explained, we are a group of ex-Muslims, and we would like to explain a few important subjects in Islam. However, just for to explain how we are doing, we are broadcasting on live on Facebook and YouTube channel, which is named Unmask Islam in English. And I'm now sharing. I'm sharing the link for StreamYard. You don't need to subscribe to StreamYard. You just need to click on the link, and you can join straight away from your mobile or from your computer. So I believe this comment is already, yes, it's showing on both the YouTube and the Facebook. So the question which we asked, if has Quran encouraged or supported capturing slave women, sex slaves in war? Uh, of course, from we are talking here the civilian women. We believe the answer is yes. Quran, very frankly, supported that and actually made it even worse than what you think. The first things before we start, due to copyrights issues, we can't actually display everything we want. I would advise you very strongly to try to find the famous documentary named Sabaya. Sabaya means sex slaves in plural, which is the plural of Sabiya. One is Sabiya, Sabaya is the plural. This talks about ISIS, which is, as you heard, maybe you heard about it. In Arabic, we name them Daesh. ISIS is the Islamic State in Syria and Iraq. Uh, uh, they captured many thousands of uh, the Yazidi women in the north of Iraq. The Yazidis is a very old group of people who still believe in the Zarathusht uh, religion. So they were considered by those Muslims or by Daesh as pagan. And they took them slaves, they sold the women, they priced them, depends on their age and beauty. And there are lots of documentaries online. So I strongly advise everyone because to go and look at it, because that was really one of the most shocking issues, to see people taking slaves and selling them in slave markets in the 21st century. The Muslims always say, no, that's not a part of Islam. That's something, those are not real Muslims, blah, blah, blah. But while the reality is completely different. Where has this come from? That's the first question. So in Quran, Surah An-Nisa, or the section of the women actually, An-Nisa means the women, the verse number 24. Surah An-Nisa is the section number 4 in Quran. So if you have Quran at home or if you go online, you go to section number 4 and you read the verse number 24. What does it say? وَالْمُحْصَنَاتُ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ. Now, to understand this verse, you have probably to read the verse before, because the verse before says, telling Muslims that you can't have sex with your daughter, with your mother, with your sister, blah, blah, blah. And then it moves to the verse 24 and says, and the married women, but, or besides, or unless you possess them in your right hand. So what is possession in your right hand? This means you capture them in war. So you can't have sex with a married woman if you are Muslims unless you catch this woman in war. Now, the most shocking part of the story is the explanation. If you go to the explanation, usually people, the most popular explanation is Ibn Kathir. So what does Ibn Kathir says? Uh, he says, as I said, you can't have sex with married women unless you own them, by capturing in war. Then you can have sex with them when you make sure they are not pregnant. So that's what it says, this sentence, إلا ما ملكتموهن بالسبي فإنه يحل لكم وطوءهن إذا استبرأتموهن. So I won't hear you to comment about the word having sex. Actually, the word used till now, al-wata, which actually used for animals. So speaking about women as they are animals, that's a very bad word. Until now, it is used. Actually, this the word. The wata means stepped on something. So it's very humiliating for women to say that. Not like in English, you say you make love. No. So, and the story, why it happened. So they were in attacking a tribe, a Jewish tribe named Autas. So they captured those women, but they knew that they had husbands. They knew their husbands. So a group of people who captured those women came back to Muhammad, the prophet, and told them, well, we captured women, but we knew their husbands. They got the verse. So he created the verse straight away from his mind that yeah, you can't have sex with the married women unless you catch them or you capture them in war. So it says here, فَاسْتَحْلَلْنَا فُرُوجَهُنَّ. So those people are saying that when we talked to the prophet about it and he gave us this verse, then the vulvas, the external genitalia of those women became halal. That's how it is written. So the story refers to women as vulvas, or actually pussies, not humans. So that's how it is written, that because of this verse, their external genitalia or vulvas became halal, not haram. So what is the moral behind it? That actually people before Islam had more morals than after Islam. So before Islam, it would not be accepted to catch a woman in war and have sex with her if she was married, while after Islam is okay because God allowed that in Quran. So the next question, has Prophet Muhammad had sex with slaves himself? The answer is yes, and the evidence is overwhelming. In Quran, in the section of Al-Ahzab, which is the section number 33, the verse number 50. يا أيها النبي إنا أحللنا لك أزواجك اللاتي آتيت أجورهن وما ملكت يمينك مما أفاء الله عليك. So, يا أيها النبي, you prophet, we made it halal, we allowed you to have sex with your wives whom you have paid them their fees. So here I would like to stop for a second and say marriage contract in Islam is a contract for sexual intercourse for money, or a contract of sexual intercourse for money. So wives in Islam are not supposed even to cook for the husband. So the contract that the husband pays money for the woman to have sex with her. No love, nothing, nothing else. Only sex. And actually it is in Arabic means contract of intercourse. عقد nikah. So it's not as you think it's a marriage. Not like when you have a girlfriend and you love her and then you decide to marry her. No, it's not like that. So that's what the Quran says here. So God is telling the Prophet that I allowed you to have sex with your wives, whom you have already paid them fees, and what you possess in your right hand. So God added the slaves, the sex slaves, on the top of the wives, because when if someone wanted to have sex with sex slaves at that time, would not pay her. So God is here differentiating between two group of women which the Prophet could have sex with the wives who had already been paid the fees, and the possessed in the right hand who never been paid. Mimma afa Allahu alayka at the end means from what God gifted you. So those sex slaves were a gift from God to Prophet Muhammad to have sex with them whenever he wanted. So next step, has Prophet Muhammad himself captured women and used them as sex slaves? The answer is again yes. So one of the very famous stories is the story of one of his uh, later wives, Safiya bint Huyay ibn Akhtab. So Safiya is the name of the woman, the daughter of Huyay, the son of Akhtab. When the Muslims attacked the castle of Khaybar, which was a tribe of Jew, they captured women. So one of his best friends, Dihya al-Kalbi, asked him that I wanted the slave. I want a sex slave. He said, okay, go choose one. So he took Safiya for himself. Another man came and asked and told Muhammad, why did you give this girl to Dihya al-Kalbi? She's very beautiful and she's high ranking in her people. She's a princess. There are few stories here, by the way, if you have the ability to go online and try to read. One of them actually because she was having a bit of dirty face. So only few people realized that this is a beautiful woman. So, and she just had her husband, father, and cousins killed at the front of her. So they killed her family at the front of her. So the moment Muhammad knew that Dihya al-Kalbi actually took the most important woman and the most beautiful woman, he changed his mind and he called them back. And he asked them to bring her back to him. And he traded her with 7 people. So here in Arabic transcript, it said that the Prophet bought her for 7 heads. So talking about people as heads, just like cattle, as they are talking about uh, sheep or cows or horses, and took her, gave her to a lady to fix her. Okay, and she washed her and got her ready, and he had sex with her in the same day. He killed her family in the same day. And next day he said, well, she became Muslims and she's now my wife. He stopped the whole army. The army was going back. He stopped the army because he wanted to have sex with her. He would not wait till he goes back home. So that's maybe one of the most shocking stories about Prophet Muhammad. And this gives you an example that it's not only justified in Quran, but also it had been practiced by Prophet Muhammad himself. And as you know that the Quran says that the Muslims should follow the Quran, the Allah, the God, and the Prophet. So whatever the Prophet did is something the Muslims has to follow, because the Prophet is the symbol and the idol for all Muslims.
Actually, Sam, I would like to add something
Mm.
to this. Do you know that the term of "ma malakat aymanukum," your what you own by right, was mentioned 8 times repeatedly in the
Yeah,
Quran,
yeah,
while
yeah, yeah.
Muhammad himself was mentioned in the Quran 4 times only. So it was like a much important subject than the Prophet and the icon of
Of
Islam
course.
itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's one of the most important. That's why actually uh, Islam forbidden, you know, gambling, forbidden pork, forbidden alcohol, but not slavery, because it was the main source of money, and it's all about women. And there is a very well-known speech for Muhammad advising his people to go attack the Romans, because they have blonde girls.
Oh,
Yes, Banatul Asfar. So he was telling, go fight the Romans to get women with the yellow hair.
yeah.
So yes, they wanted blondes. Yeah, that's
It's all
very
about
important.
power and yeah.
The subject is pretty complex and it has many aspects. Actually, one if you probably, of course, you knew about the when one of his wives caught him with a slave on her bed. So a very funny story that the Al-Muqawqas, the uh, the king or the leader of Egypt, sent him a slave, which was very well known, Maria al-Qibtiyya, which is the Coptic Maria, became his wife later, and he had a child from her. Uh, but when she was still a slave, he had sex with her on the bed of his wife, the daughter of Umar ibn al-Khattab. What was her name? See, I keep forgetting her name.
Hafsa.
Hafsa bint Umar. And she caught him having sex with a slave on her bed, and she started fighting with him. And he said, "Please keep shut your mouth. Please don't tell everyone." And blah blah blah. Finally, when he found that there was no way around it, he created a verse in Quran to justify it. So what the verse in Quran is Tahrim, Surah Tahrim. It's Surah Tahrim, which is the section number 66, and it's the verse number 1. What it says, يا أيها النبي لما تحرم ما أحل الله لك. God is talking to him. Hey, prophet, why are you forbidding, or why you make it
Forbidding
haram?
yourself from what
What
God.
the God made it halal for you. تبتغي مرضات أزواجك والله غفور رحيم. You want just to satisfy or to keep the mouth of your wife shut. So God is blaming prophet here that uh, I allowed you to have sex with slaves. You must have sex with slaves, with your sex slaves. And if you don't do it just to keep your wives happy, you are doing, you are making me angry, something like that. So he had to have sex with the sex slaves to make God happy. It's not because he wanted it, but that's what God actually allowed him, and he had to follow the wish of God.
Somehow God was very interested in his sexual life.
Exactly, was ready for him. I just want to again tell, if we have people actually apparently watching us. We have those comments. I put them. You can join the conversation if you like by clicking on the StreamYard link. And this StreamYard link, you don't need to have subscription. You can enter the studio straight away if you like to discuss the subject with us. So yes, it's all about having, enjoying more sex with women. It was believed that when Prophet Muhammad died, he had 35 slaves in his house and 11 wives, or at least 9 wives at that time. Imagine 35 slaves, half of them were women.
One of the most
So,
well-known sex slaves he had, her name was, I remember, Rayhana bint Zayd. She was from Banu Qurayza and she was married to a prominent man in her tribe.
mm,
And when her husband got killed among the
mm.
900 men who were executed at that time, he took her as a sex slave and he tried to force her to convert to Islam and so he could marry her, and she refused and she stayed as a sex slave for him until she died.
Oh, well, yeah, very well known. Well, yeah, unfortunately. So those ISIS people who captured the Yazidi women and used them as sex slaves did not brought that from their mind. It is a part of the Islamic belief. It's a part of the Islamic Sharia. And the fact that in a country like Saudi Arabia, slavery was stopped only in 1965. And as far as I know, in a country like Mauritania, it's been there till the late 80s. They had slaveries. And very recently in Libya, uh, some Libyan militia groups captured African people trying to cross to Europe and sold them as slaves. So that's very recent. We were talking in the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years. So they were still actually doing it. When they have the chance, the moment they have the chance, they do it. The moment they have the chance, they do it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, any other idea, Adam, you want to bring?
The thing is that, when you meet like a common Muslim, like most of them have, like some of them have different interpretations. Some of them would like, oh no, our holy prophet never did that. They cannot deny it. Most of them didn't really read the holy book or read it, and they're just trying to use taqiyya in trying to like draw a brighter image for the prophet they believe in. And actually, we spoke about Taqiyya in the past video we streamed on our channel. I really recommend people to go and watch that, since most of Westerners, when they meet like a common Muslim, they be like, "What about this? Oh, we don't practice this." No, they misunderstood it. And here we have verses in the most holy book and an act that was practiced by the holiest icon or the main icon in the religion itself. Practice it. We have evidence for it in the Quran, in the Hadith, and still like it is there. That's why it was never banned, and it was still practiced in Saudi Arabia, for example, until the late 60s.
Mhm.
So
Actually, that's why I insisted to start with the Taqiyya or the Islamic deception. People people should understand the few principles of Islam before they start understanding how the Muslims thinks. Of course, lying is a very important part, and bluffing, deceiving, it is very important. So the lie is ready because that's how the culture is, that you have to lie to support the religion. Never ever tell the truth which is against you. So the other things, Adam, as you know, that now in the Arabic world or the Arabic speaking world, you have something like half billion people, but nearly 50% of those hardly had any education, and their level of education not more than year 6 in primary school.
and the sad part of it is, even the ones who gotten a high education, still they are so brainwashed by the ideology.
Yeah,
You might see like
exactly.
like you remember when some doctors left their work at the hospitals and went and joined ISIS to support
Yeah.
their
So
way of government.
even the highly educated, that's why we always say if you are Arabic speaking, especially, and you go deep in Islam, it's one of two things. Either you become ISIS member or
Or
you leave it. You can there is no such creature, modern Muslims. This creature does not exist. Those who believe they are modern Muslims are either suppressing the bad ideas in their mind or they don't understand it. But those, as I said, not less than 50% of Arabic speaking Muslims don't understand it. And as you know, you and me and many people like us, we had to put much effort to understand what it is. You know, you be able to read this old language, and you need to have access to books and explanations and things, and then you see it practiced, and then you start understanding what it is. But imagine the remaining of Muslims, which is not less than 1.3 or 1.4 billion people. They don't speak Arabic. They can't read at all anything. So, so it's just a sort of culture they adopted, and they just believe in it without any idea what it is. It's indoctrination. You know, they just they are indoctrinated. That's what you have to do, and they do it like robots. You know, just like prayer, just like everything. You know, they have no idea what they believe in, and then when you come and confront them with that, they argue that you
Yeah,
know you're wrong. You don't understand Islam. Ah, yes, I don't understand Islam. You understand it, obviously.
yeah, they use al-wala and al-bara. I don't really know what is the name of
We
this. We have to make a
al-wala
video about this.
wal-bara.
It's very
Yes, loyalty and enmity.
enmity.
That's
Yeah,
that's how you translate it.
when
This is
you
another this is another subject we need to talk about. Actually, I was too many things actually. We need. I guess we need at least 20 videos before we cover the basic principles of Islam. At least 20.
Yeah, for the basics at least, yes.
At least 20. Yeah. So, and they are all connected and very complex. Every time you talk about a subject, you can't not talk about the other ones because they are all connected, you know. And unfortunately, we don't have someone to come and discuss it. But you would see that straight away. If a Muslim comes to discuss it, you can actually see that all together. The other important subject is the abrogation. The abrogation or canceling the old verses. So Muhammad kept changing his mind between peace and fight.
Yeah, while
And yeah,
in the beginning of his message in Mecca, he was like the verses were so peaceful and like
mm,
talking about
yeah,
equality and freedom of
yeah,
beliefs. And as soon as he moved to Medina and he had all the forces and he won against the forces of Mecca or Quraysh, we'd call it, his verses started to change, and then this concept started to appear like. So God, all Almighty God, all known God, thought about his verses and thought, okay, if we're gonna, when he said in the Quran, actually, I'm not sure which surah was it, but he said, whenever we change a rule, we will replace it with the same rule or some rule that is, or some law that better than it. So this
yeah.
is
I
what,
can get it for you. I
yeah,
can get it for you easily. ولا تسألوا عن أشياء إن تبد لكم تسوءكم. Okay, this is actually a very important one. ولا تسألوا. Um, okay, so actually this is Al-Ma'idah.
yeah,
Al-Ma'idah, yeah.
it was ما ننسخ من آية أو ننسها نأتي بخير منها أو مثلها
No,
ألم تعلم أن الله على كل شيء. I think it's
yeah,
in the
yeah. No,
first verse
no,
in Al-Baqarah.
no, you're talking about the abrogation is different. The one which says ولا لا تسألوا عن أشياء أن تبد لكم تسوءكم is Al-Ma'idah 110. This verse is very important because it tells the Muslim not to ask questions about stuff if it is verified or explained or clarified for
It
them,
sounded
it does bad
bad.
to them. Yeah. This is Al-Ma'idah 110. While the other one, the abrogation, I tell you where it is.
It was in the first,
Yeah.
it was in Surah Al-Baqarah.
Al-Baqarah,
Yeah.
Al-Baqarah 106. Al-Baqarah 106. Which is a Madani section. So that was in Al-Madinah after he got the thieves around him fighting with him. So yes, we when we abrogate a verse or make you forget it, he was forgetting the verses. People were coming to him, tell him, well, you said last year something and now you're saying something else, because he was just creating from his mind, depends on the circumstances. Oh, and he was forgetting. And then he put this verse in Quran to open the door for himself that he can actually change his mind at any time. And they created this is a science, it's an art in Islam, the abrogation. That's why when you corner or embarrass any Muslims about a killing verse in Quran, he brings you an older verse to bluff you with, while this verse is actually abrogated already. They don't use it
Yeah.
because it was old in Mecca, while the Quran, which came in Al Madinah, has abrogated everything in Quran.
When they say, well, what ISIS is doing doesn't represent Islam, because in the Quran it
Yes.
was said, if you kill one soul as if you killed all the humanity. And if you save
That
one soul, as if you save the whole humanity, and it's all like just bluffing because he knows, or he might not know anyway.
actually this verse should be read in relation to the one before it because the meaning is completely different. Because here, where God was talking to the Jew at that time, not to the Muslims, even the message
Oh,
was not for the Muslims. However, look, those subjects are so complex, and but as you said, they are all connected to each other. You can't separate them. You can't
yeah,
separate those subjects from each other. We are here talking about sex slaves in Islam, uh, but you can't just talk about it without talking about other stuff.
yeah,
So it is very complex. The subject is very complex. It needs to be explained section by section. We hope that if we continue, bringing those subjects one by one and try to explain them in details, and we hope people actually come and discuss it, because as long as people are hiding those problems, we're gonna be in trouble in Western countries. And people like us who decided to leave all this stuff behind and start new lives, and we want our families and our children to be to be educated and to be Western people, who believe in democracy and believe in humanity. We don't want them to know that. And then you find those immigrants who comes and they want to apply the Sharia law,
yeah.
just like now Sweden, France, everywhere. England, in England, they have already occupied towns.
In London, yeah. Parts of London are just totally
Yes.
out of control.
Yeah, absolutely. They are everywhere, everywhere in all countries. I can't count. But even Brussels, it's believed that Brussels itself, nearly 50% are Muslims. And they have their ghettos, and you can't come in at all. You can't come near them.
I mean, they are just destroying the freedom of speech that these societies were built on. Like, even if you come
Mhm.
out and speak your opinion, you'll end up being killed.
So you can.
Someone will
You
come
can.
and try to
Absolutely.
enter the heaven by eliminating another infidel in his mind. It's just so crazy. And then,
Yeah.
and the more this tribes grows in these Western societies, the more dangerous that it will be in the future. Even, for
Exactly.
example, let's say that we join that they would have they will join like political parties and try to like participate in the political life. They will use democracy and use all these terms that we're talking about to bluff the society. And once they are in power, that's it. No more democracy, no more freedom of speech.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. So it's very sad, but that's what we are dealing with, actually.
That's
That's what
actually
we
the
are
reason we
dealing with.
started this whole uh, web page, and that's why we're trying to talk about these subjects to like educate Westerners about what's happening in their own neighborhoods right now, which has become our neighborhoods anyway.
Well, yes, that's what we are trying to do, because we are suffering. We left our countries. We left all the the rules of this religion, which was controlling our life. We came here to Western countries, believing that we will have freedom, and then we find them at the front of us, trying to apply that on us here where we live. It's very serious.
He, actually, to be honest with you, some parts in the Middle East are more safe than the European cities, I
Possibly,
would say.
Yeah,
Like
possibly.
in countries that adopts like policies where they forbid, like for example, the Muslim Brotherhoods. I mean, you would be a bit safe to talk about these subjects more than certain cities in Europe. Imagine this. They have imported the worst version, or the worst version have grown so much in the Western societies because of using the freedom of speech or the democracy itself. And if you criticize it, if you talk about it, whether you're racist or you're Islamophobic, or it's insane.
Yes. Especially this Islamophobia, actually, like in Canada. Yeah, it's fortunately only Canada is applying that at the moment. But it is a very serious matter because they just shut you up. You can't complain about it. You have to accept whatever they do. And especially those lefties, they are a problem. But I guess in Canada it's gonna be changed. I don't think it's gonna continue.
I mean,
The moment
hopefully
the
the
right wing, the moment the right wing comes into power, they're gonna change it because there's no such things that you cannot criticize religion. Since when you can't criticize religion in Western countries? Since when? And you let those people, with all their extreme beliefs, they cover the head of little girls and put lots of rubbish in their brains, and you should not allow that because at the end of the day, those children are owned by the country, by the society, not by the parents.
yeah, they will be more
Yeah.
loyal to any terrorist organization that tries to force a change in the societies,
And then you
more than
find
to
those.
more than being
You
loyal to the country itself that they grew up with, that
exactly.
protected
And
their
then you find
families.
those politicians surprised that people from Western countries joined ISIS. They have no idea. They have no idea whatsoever what it is and why it's happening. And here, what we are trying here to do, this is a very important, this is an essential part of Islam, and that's how the Islamic belief built built up. And no surprise, no wonder at all for people like us because we came from that background. No surprise for us that even educated people from UK, doctors, were going and joining ISIS because that's how it is. That's what it is about. That's how it is. But they don't, it's hard to convince other people. It's hard to convince our people. And they are just pushing the uh, extreme right to reach the power at the end. And we're going to see fascists in Europe very soon, ruling Europe because this risk is really scary. The those Western people paid blood to build up their democracy. The whole Second World War was about democracy. They're not gonna give it up
Hopefully not.
for people. Yeah, for people who believes in a 1400-year-old law. Bedouin, a law was applied in the desert in Arabia. They want to apply it now in North America and in Europe and Australia and New Zealand, everywhere. All the free world is suffering of this. All the free world.
That's why we are going to
But with
continue explaining as much as possible and try to educate people as much as possible about this ideology.
well, we try our best. We hope that people listens to us. I again just would like to say if you like to join the conversation live, you can just click on the links in our comments and you can join the studio because we are nearly finishing. We are just waiting to see if someone wants to come and join the conversation.
Maybe you
So
want to go through the last hadith on the last slide we have.
yeah, that's the story how it happened. You know, they attacked Khaybar, the castle of Khaybar, which was uh, the Jewish tribe, and they killed the men as usual, and they captured women. So one of Muhammad's prophet, one of the prophet's best friend, Dihya al-Kalbi, wanted to have a slave, sex slave. So he came to him. He said, "Oh, prophet, I want to have a sex slave from the capture." He said, "Okay, go get one." So he got this girl named Safiya bint Huyay, and another man came and told him, "Well, prophet, you gave Safiya to Dihya al-Kalbi, but you have to have it. You have her because she's the most beautiful girl in town, and she's one of the princesses." So he brought Dihya. He brought first. He had a look on her, and he realized that yeah, she was dirty because of the war, but she was very stunning, beautiful, and young. So he traded her for 7 people. And the story written as he traded her for 7 heads. So talking
Yeah.
about people like cattle, you know. So he gave 7 people to Dihya al-Kalbi. Of course, those 7 people were his own slaves. Not it? So he
Yeah.
gave those people like, from his pocket, like money. So he gave Dihya al-Kalbi 7 people. Imagine how precious she was. And took her and ordered the whole army to stop mobilizing. And he gave her to a special lady named Salim, or mother of Salim, to clean her and prepare her for him. And he had sex with her in the same night. He killed her father, husband, and cousins. She saw her family slaughtered at the front of her, and she had to accept to have sex with the prophet, who was 60 years old, maybe, or maybe 58 or 57 at the best scenario. Yeah, it was in year 7 for migration. So he was something like 58 or 59 years old, while she was only 16 years old. He had sex with her, and in the morning he said, "Oh, she converted to Islam, and she got a very good Islam. So أسلمت وحسن إسلامها." So uh, so
Achieving
imagine, and
Islam
actually
very
he
well.
didn't, and he had sex with her before making sure she was not pregnant, because according to the Islamic Sharia, even if you capture a slave woman, you can't have sex with her till she gets her period. No,
Yeah.
he had sex straight away. He couldn't wait. He stopped the whole army. He stopped the mobilizing the whole army and made a wedding for himself to have sex with her. And what's the most shocking part? If you read more about the subject, you will find that many would tell you she was the most loving him women. He had many wives, but Safiya loved him more than anything else.
Yeah.
And that Safiya, even before they've been attacked, she had a dream that she was getting married to him. Imagine. That's what is in the Islamic literature. That she had a dream that Muhammad was marrying her, and her husband slapped her on the face. So she had a vision that her husband was killed, and she would marry the best man on planet, who was 56 or 59 or 60 years old.
Someone would
So
come an argument with come and bring this argument that slavery was practiced by many nations and before, and it was like a very known practice. Yes, it is, but they don't pretend to be the best and the holiest religion on the face of earth, and their laws are the best, and their laws is more advanced than the international laws right now, the UN international law. That's the problem. That's why we're talking about this.
Only
Because
because of human rights, yeah.
yeah,
Only because they were forced by United Nations to cancel it. Otherwise, they were practicing it in Saudi Arabia, as I said, till 1965, and in Mauritania till the late 80s. The slavery was always there, everywhere, but it had never ever been made legislated by religion.
yeah,
Has never here they tell you God Himself allowed it.
and even the same Abrahamic religions, Judaism and Christianity. I'm not sure if they had it in there. I'm not sure. I don't
No,
think they
no,
did.
no,
But
no,
today
never, never,
they decline it, and they refuse to accept it, and
never.
even they would be ashamed of any bad practice they had before, and what we have today. They still proud of it, and they still think that it is part of the religion, and in any part, the how would I say it? That in any geographical area that's full with Muslims, that when the governments collapse or this practice will emerge immediately.
Yes, immediately. No, look, I'm not into Judaism and Christianity, I'm not
Yeah,
into details. But however it is, at least now in Western countries, especially in the United States, they feel ashamed.
exactly.
They feel ashamed. If you ask any American in the street, they say, no way we go back to that because that was a shame on our nation.
Yeah,
While those people tell you, no, it is written in Quran and it is legislated by God. We want
they
it
have
back.
they rewrote the Bible again, and we came with a new version of the Bible, like the King John, for example. Bible they have a
I'm not
they have
sure. Anyhow, look, we are not into the Bible
yeah,
here, Adam.
exactly.
Yeah, well,
We're just trying to make a
we,
comparison if somebody brought the argument that other religions or other nations have practiced this. We're just saying that this
no
isn't
religion,
the
as
case.
far as I know, no religion on planet at all, no religion on planet all justified slavery. Slavery was practiced by people, you know, because of wars and other stuff, but never ever been mentioned in any religion. Only Islam justified slavery and justified having sex slaves. It's just not only slavery, sex slaves clearly, mentioned clearly, treating women like animals, like rubbish. It's just
Property, yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah.
Like property,
I
exactly.
mean,
Just like as
even in modern
women.
wars right now, I mean, whenever soldiers get captured, he would be, like he would be dealt with the laws that, like, if you capture a soldier, I mean, if he refuses, that's it. That's it. No matter what his sex was, man or women or whatever it was. There are still rules and laws that protect this captured person, and you still have to treat him with dignity, uh, they would enter negotiation to like trade prisoners or like, but not in Islam. Whenever you're under their power, that's it. If there
Exactly.
is no state or government that regulate that area.
Anyhow, Adam, we have to finalize it. We are nearly 1 hour, so we should not go more than 1 hour anyhow.
Okay.
So, do you have any other subject you want to talk about or the in relation? Any idea?
Actually, we covered we covered all what came to our mind about this subject, and I would just like to remind the people who watch us to like and share and subscribe and follow us for to or try to participate in our new streams in the future. So follow
Yeah,
us, guys.
I guess the next one should be what I'm thinking, if you agree with the next question, if Prophet Muhammad has killed Jewish children himself. Has he killed Jewish children? I think that's the question which we should come up with next time. I hope
Not gonna
we
answer
in 2
today,
weeks.
but
No, no, no.
we're not gonna
Don't.
answer it today. We're gonna keep
A
it for the next.
very complex subject. Very complex subject. No,
Yeah.
we always need we need an evidence for everything we talk about. We are bringing stuff, but not without mentioning where it's mentioned. You know, we have to have enough reference not to bring subjects. Yeah, that needs a very big preparation. Maybe within 2 weeks, we'll see how we go this week. And I hope in 2 weeks we can come back and do it again.
So every 2 weeks, guys, we're gonna try. We
Maybe,
promise. Every two
yeah,
weeks,
depends. Yeah,
we're gonna try to stream about
hopefully.
something new. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sam, for your time.
Okay, just stay with me, Adam.
Okay.
Just stay with me. I'm gonna end the stream right now. Okay, thank you everyone for watching, and please support our channel by sharing, subscribing, put a like, whatever you like to do. Thank you very much.